Well, hello and welcome to No Excuses, Just Reasons with Reed Mueller, a show about irrational confidence and denial. It's been a pretty wild week. Russia's threatening to steal all of Ukraine's Bitcoin and NFT collection. Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl ring, giving Detroit a reason to cheer about football. They turned Joe Rogan into Alex Jones overnight. T-Mobile tried to sell 5G to the Super Bowl audience. And that goddamn Eminem need during the Song of Our Ancestors. But luckily, I'm a clown and not a newsman, so we get to skip all over that nonsense. Instead, I want to give a shout out to one of our Soviet idols. Ba-ba-boo-boo-boo-boo. Joel Osteen. Now, it's true that I did grow up hating the church and its members. But that being said, everyone's scammed by something. My dad tried to raise me in that nonsense idea that college basketball is better than the NBA, and that shit makes about as much sense as Noah's Ark. These goofballs get real excited that Kevin Durant signed at Texas for a year. It's their whole life for 12 calendar months, and then they're just like, oh, okay, enough of him. Why the hell would I want to watch him in the NBA? Bring on the next 18-year-old. I'm kind of a pedophile. Hashtag college sports fans. My grandpa was a booster for UW-Madison, so I just grew up with my dad telling me weird little stories. So I'm like 9 years old, I have divorced parents, at my pop's on the weekends kind of thing going on. I liked my dad, so I got up real early to hang out with him. It was like 5 in the morning. He's drinking coffee, watching MASH as the Vietnam survivor he was. Dude probably had some adult early morning demons going on, but he leans over to me and he says, you know, when Michael Finley got off the plane for his recruiting visit to UW-Madison, he was met by a limo of hookers sent from the boosters. 9-year-old me was like, shit, man, Grandpa doesn't even get me a fucking Christmas card. He just visited that dude in the nursing home, took him blueberry cheesecake, and he asked us to leave without the visit. Boosters really are just the scum of the earth. My grandpa and his booster buddies would go to a diner a couple times a week and just sit there drinking coffee for like 5 hours. All of them talking about how important they are to the community, I'm sure. And then at the end of the 5 hours, they've spent $2 on the coffee, and they leave a dime for the tip. I really doubt boosters give a fuck about the community. They just want to feel important. But yeah, my dad's message got to me. I went out there and practiced my free throws. Everyone's raised to believe in some silly nonsense, and that brings us back to Joel Osteen. I spent a good portion of my life hating this dude. I was probably 12 when Hurricane Katrina hit, and he refused to help anyone. Obviously, God doesn't want those people to drag mud in here, Joel says. And his dumbass followers were in like 3 feet of water just thinking, yeah, that makes sense. He's right. He's fucking right. He will drag mud in. And then what? Would God require all of us to be baptized again? That makes no fiscal sense to go through. And you know, many of us want to live a moral life. We want to be outraged on other people's behalves on the occasion. This rich man is taking advantage of the masses. Oh Lord, have mercy. May the Wisconsin Badger Booster Club send you a limo of prostitutes in your trying time. But yeah, dude, Houston eventually dries out, and guess which televangelist just has a packed house every Sunday? Joel does. At some point, you just have to come to the conclusion the people want to give Joel 10% of their income. Joel wants to take 10% of their income, if not more. And who am I to break that spell? And look, the televangelists issue is more that they fuck their followers' wives, not their kids, so that's a step in the right direction. So I'm gonna play a little clip of the moment I kind of fell in love with Joel Osteen. So this short clip is Joel thinking he's about to talk with one of his followers on TikTok, spread the good word, right? Something I'm sure he has to do pretty regularly.
See with Joel Osteen? Hey man, you know you're a piece of shit, right? You know, right? Right? Come on, yeah, you know. You know, right? Yeah. Yeah, you know. Take care, folks.
That laugh Joel makes when he calls him evil, convinced me that he could be in my friend group. And then he followed it up with that heartless nice to meet ya. Ugh, what a hero. If I have to become a man of God to have that level of aloofness as I collect society's money, well, damn it, that might be the route we have to go. Modern day comedy is basically just creating a cult of your own. Between Joel Osteen and Joe Rogan, who would you rather be today? Joel's gonna get to keep on keeping on for the rest of time. Sorry, Bill Hicks and George Carlin, you two have been dead for a while now. Following your path is so pointless, I'm just gonna go sit down on the curb and accept homelessness now. Comedy has come full circle and we must go the way of Lenny Bruce. You see, Lenny Bruce was well ahead of his time. He started his comedy career moonlighting as a fake priest. In his off time, he would go door to door to these rich people's houses out in LA and wherever, and just try to get them to donate to his church that perhaps did not exist. And that's a message I would like the general public to understand about comedians. They could be out there committing fraud and stealing your money with a smile on their face all day, every day. Instead, they decided to not use their skills and try to make you laugh. If you like the money in your account, give them a little leeway on the jokes. One of my comic friends raised in a meth barn. Another one took care of his mom into her death from cancer. Another one kind of works part-time as the muscle for some drug dealers. Yeah, I don't have to protect my blind side on stage. That motherfucker's got me. Try to Jim Jeffries me. One of them's a guidance counselor for a high school. Can we let that motherfucker blow some steam off, please? As if he's not providing society enough help, he's also, on his free time, trying to make him laugh and cheer up. That son of a bitch! And Joel Osteen, well, that dude's just providing people with some fake hope in exchange for money. It's basically the same thing. Let me take a little bit of that sadness off your hands in exchange for $500. So to surmise, Joel has every right to come to my Thanksgiving as anyone else does. We go to the effort to make a fresh broth for the stuffing and gravy, Joel. You can say I talked to God a little bit too. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Alrighty, we all get it. Joel Osteen's a good fella. Now let's move on to another little story I'm enjoying this week. A Mississippi inmate escaped jail for the second time in 3 years. This phenom's name is Pretty Boy Floyd, and he's been convicted of murdering a couple people over the last decade or so. But we're not a jury, so we're not going to spend too much time on that part. The thing I like about Pretty Boy Floyd is he will choose whatever the best escape is for the situation. All smart people are able to do that, right? It's a respectable quality. Now, it just so happens that both of his escapes since 2018 have been super similar. And before I tell you how he escaped, I just really want to point out, again, that 54% of USA adults cannot read Hatchet or the 7th, 8th grade equivalency reading level. Some of the 54% work in every field, and Pretty Boy Floyd knows how to use that to his advantage. Okay, so in 2018, Pretty Boy Floyd saw a fence that he thought he could climb. There was some barbed wire on the top, but that doesn't stop Pretty Boy Floyd. He climbed that shit and got 2 days of freedom out of it. Floyd got 70 miles away from the prison before being caught in 2018, which brings us to his second attempted prison break. In 2018, Pretty Boy Floyd was 48 years old, so now he just escaped this past weekend when he was 51. You have to think he's more grown up and intelligent at this point, right? 4 extra years on this planet. PBF can come up with a new plan to get out of prison again. But when you're a badass agent like LeBron, you don't really have to come up with new things. You can just go back to the well. That's right, Pretty Boy Floyd just climbed the fence again, took a couple scrapes on that barbed wire, and got out and earned himself another couple days away. Anyone want to take a gander at how many miles this motherfucker got away from the prison this weekend? You betcha, another 70 miles, because he's the most consistent person on this planet. Consistency's always been one of my biggest issues. I shoot the basketball good one day, not so good the next. I'm funny today, Not funny on Thursday. I must accept the way of the pretty boy Floyd into my universe. Breathe in, and then breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Pretty boy Floyd's my sensei. I do have a final quote on this little story for you. It's how the article ends. And I quote, "According to authorities, he also escaped from a county jail in 2001. End quote. Do you realize how much more crime you could get away with in 2001? And this guy just kept getting better and better, despite the hurdles technology brought to the world. I just wish Pretty Boy Floyd could have gotten more than 2 days out of prison each time. I would love to see him try to steal packages off of people's porch with fighting those nasty doorbell cameras. You know, I bet Pretty Boy Floyd would be smart enough just to get a job at FedEx and steal them right off the truck. 3 times this dude escaped prison in Mississippi, and the first one was so long ago it's basically just lore. Just some sheriff being interviewed. Let me tell you, that fucker took advantage of us mourning 9/11, and he escaped that way. Can you be a little more specific for me, Sheriff? Well, we were all remembering, 'cause you can't forget. And while we were remembering, he just climbed that damn fence. It was his first time escaping prison, but it felt like his 10,000th. The guy just has it. He goes number 1 in our fantasy prison escape league every year. Like the Peyton Manning of this shit, just so cerebral. Oh, and you don't get Pretty Boy Floyd for nothing. He's the face of the goddamn prison, too. You know what, guys? Fuck it. Joel Osteen and Pretty Boy Floyd are the Soviet idols for this week. A twofer. Hell, the only way to keep Pretty Boy Floyd in the prison system might be to build a moat around the goddamn thing and hire some assassin dolphins to keep an eye on him. I know what we're all thinking, though, and it is important. Do you think Pretty Boy Floyd's vaccinated or not vaccinated? No way the face of the prison can get away without being vaccinated. That's what we learned from Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to be disappointed if the prisoners don't have some, lore about him set up. There should be, a cult around him that just states, you just have to climb the fence in life. There's no getting around it. You just have to climb the fence in life. And since Pretty Boy Floyd is our idol of the week, that's going to be what we take out of it as well. You just have to climb the fence in life. And what did we learn from Joel? There's nothing wrong with stupid people handing you money. No, that seems a little harsh. The real lesson is when someone accurately describes you in a way you don't want to really dive further into, laugh and walk away. It allows you to keep a little plausible deniability. Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm not evil. But also, for the people that are in the know and won't care, it's a confirmation. You're goddamn right I'm taking money from these people that I wouldn't house in a literal flood. For real, though, that was a hilarious laugh, and Joel Osteen is invited to my Thanksgiving indefinitely. World War III might break out, but it hasn't yet. So cheers to that. Hope everyone has a good